Hello, I'm Belinda of Ruth and Belinda, which is a very fun thing to be part of. And we create beautiful hand-knit designs for you to make and wear and give away, and out of the most exquisite yarn. I don't think anyone really knows, because of course through the internet one day, through the power of science fiction or technology or somebody, we'll be able to put our hands through the television set and the computer and actually feel. That would be really odd actually, wouldn't it? To be able to do that. I take that back, that would be most odd. Okay, but anyway, you'll have to come and meet us and or buy just one hank to feel how delicious this is. I cannot explain how soft it is, seriously. It is very, very, very soft. This is called the Fanfare wrap. Now I'm a great one for putting these lovely frills and fans on stuff. And this is, I love cable, I love moss stitch, and I love these lovely, beautiful things that just fluff on your shoulder, keep you nice and warm. You can also wear it, I mean there are different ways to wear it of course, because everyone's unique and has their own way and own style. But as you can see, you can, I'm a little bit short for this, but you can see it's rather fun. So there are lots of ways you can wear it. You can keep yourself all toasty. This takes 2 hanks of Silky. 2 hanks of Silky. Silky is 80% alpaca, 20% silk. A very easy pattern to knit, and if you want to begin making cables, as you can see, this is the basic beginning of how you do a very, very simple 3-stitch, over 6 stitches, so it's 3 stitches, bringing to the front the stitches, knitting ones that you are still held on the needle and swapping them over with a cable needle. That sounds very, very complicated. I've probably put you off, and I do apologise because that's not my intention. If you have a look on other of our films, you will see how to do a cable. It isn't that complicated, honestly, promise. Okay, so here we go. Cast on this, cast on nice and loosely, can you see? There you go. So, takes 2. Don't forget, you're going to have hanks, wind them into balls first, otherwise you'll be all over the place. It'll be incredibly hard to knit if you're knitting off hanks. So do make sure you wind them up. We will show you how in a later video. But here we go, film. Here you go, this is moss stitch all along this edge, and all along this edge you've got moss stitch, which is, I don't know if you know, but it's called seed stitch in America, it's called moss stitch here, and it is very simply a kind of, can you see, it's kind of like a basket weave. It's rather fun. It's a lovely, lovely stitch. It's got a beautiful feel to it, and it's kind of holds the shape, and it doesn't curl up on the edges, and it's rather nice. So this is knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. The next row you're doing the opposite, because what you're wanting to do, so you've done knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. The next way is you're doing purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, 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 knit, purl, purl. So what you're doing, that's what that is. So if you were doing a round, you would do it opposite, but of course I'm just trying to think, you would do, wouldn't you, it would be knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and the next row, because you're turning over, would also be knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, because you're knitting backwards. So there you go, that's moss stitch. Have a look on the pattern design card. Very, very simple, not very complicated at all. This is cable. So here you would go with your 6 stitches. Excuse me a minute, there you go. So you've got knit 6, purl 3, knit 6, purl 3, knit 6, purl 3, knit 6, moss stitch. Easily done. Okay, the next row you're doing, as you can see, that's the back. I think that makes it very clear. Actually, that's quite nice, isn't it? Quite a nice pattern. So anyway, that's going that way. So you're purling, then knitting 3, purling 6, knitting 3, purling 6. This side you're doing the each one over here. Just make sure you count, so some of the cables are actually uniform, because you want to keep it looking as beautiful as that. So I think it's every 6 rows you do a cable. Just check that on the pattern card, but that's what you do. And you just keep going. You keep going and you keep going, and it'll tell you how many rows to do, and you get to here. which is, as you can see, just before you put on the flare, which is rather fun. So here you go. I don't know if you can see that. You've got here moss stitch, and you can see, and this is the flare, and the flare is again very simple. You've got here, if I can show you, you've got here a yarn over, knit that many stitches, yarn over, purl, yarn over, knit that many stitches, yarn over, purl, and so on and so on and so on, so to the end. Then what you've done, because you've got those yarn overs will create holes, as you can see, comme ça. There you go, they're the holes. So those will create holes, which are meant to be holes now. That's the whole beauty of this thing. So, and what happens, of course, because you've done these yarn overs, on the way back, if you see what I mean, because you've done a yarn over, this way, you're now knitting the yarn overs. Oh, I've got fluff in my eye. Alpaca in my eye. There you go. So, what you're doing is you're eating up the yarn overs. Now the yarn overs then of course incrementally get bigger and bigger, because what happens is you're adding stitches on. So you've got here, you would have so many, 8 order, then you have 10, then you do another line and you make 2 more yarn overs, then you've got 12, make 2 more yarn overs, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and that's how that grows until you have probably about 3 meters of yarn left to cast off. Cast off loosely, really, really important. You need it, you know, to be soft and floofy, not too sort of tight. It needs to have, you know, it needs to have some give to it, otherwise it's not going to kind of floof, and there's nothing worse than having the edges all horribly tight. So, if you do knit very tight, you'll cast off very, you know, you're learning and you're beginning the journey. Go up a needle size. So if this is knitted on a size 4, go and rummage in your needles and go and see if you can find a size 5 and cast off with a size 5 needle. If you're absolutely fine with it, carry on casting off loosely. Next thing you need to do, this will look a little small and a little kind of just knitted. What do I mean by that? Just knitted. So sew in your edges. I'm not a great fan of making up stuff, hence having things that have a cast on edge and a cast off edge, so you have to. So sew those in, so make it nice and neat. You'll then have this wonderful thing and you'll go, voila, I finished it, but not yet. You then need to do some water washy thingies, and what you need to do is shove it in a sink of water, warm water, don't put any detergent or anything like that in, just keep it watery, give it a spludge, give it a good thingy like that. Big kind of, you know, just it's very forgiving, this stuff. Do you know what I mean? It really is. So you don't have to be too precious with it. It's to wear and enjoy, and incredibly soft. I can't actually tell you how soft it is. I'm playing with this, but it's just delicious, just delicious. Absolutely, hang it on your line if you have such a thing. Do you know what I mean? Hang it up like that to dry, and all good. Or wet it, put it on a towel in your bathroom. Of course, it doesn't really matter what room you put it in. Could be the bathroom, could be your drawing room or your bedroom. That would be a bit odd, having bits of knitty in your bedroom. But I'm sure you can. I'm sure it wouldn't make any difference whether it was a bedroom or any other room. Right, okay, enough of that. So, yeah, and just make sure this edge here is pulled out, because you don't really want it to roll, and stocking stitch tends to have a little bit of a roll, but it not really very much if you're very careful. There you go. And Bob's your uncle, you have got a Fanfare wrap, Fanfare wrap in 2 hanks of Silky. Very exquisite, very soft, very delicious, to give, to wear, to hold, to wrap. Enjoy. Fanfare wrap. Fanfare wrap 2. This is actually exactly the same as I've just explained, to do the springtime version. So let me just show you. Stay there, don't go away. Okay, so what we have here is, so I can show you, you have here the springtime version, and here you have, if you can see, the wintertime version. Now this is in baby alpaca. Now baby alpaca, does this kind of explain to you how delicious it is. Okay, this is Springtime, which is 2 hanks of Silky, 80% alpaca, 20% silk. Very delicious, holds the pattern very well, as you can see. Very, very beautiful. Right, next, exactly the same. You do exactly the same. You cast on here, bigger, same amount of stitches, bigger needles of course, fatter yarn, very, very soft. It takes 3 of Buttersoft, and it really is. I can't even, I'm holding it up to the camera so you can really have a look at how lovely this is. But it is absolutely exquisite to knit with and to wear, so very, very soft. So this is more of a foofy thing, if you feel more in a foofy mood. So this is very, very soft. This is a winter, this is what we call winter time. Very soft, very delicious, exactly the same way of knitting it. You can either knit it in 2 lots of Silky or 3 lots of Buttersoft. So there you go, with a rather lovely thingy at the bottom again. So that's that. Just to explain, you just have 1 pattern card and it'll show you how to make, well, basically you can knit it in anything you like, but I do suggest that you knit it in our yarn, because our yarn is just fab. There you go. So that was Fanfare wrap, Snowtime and Springtime. That's it, Snowtime and Springtime.